Am I exercising too much? This is a question a lot of my clients do ask me. And it's not just exercise, it's just like, am I doing too much? How can I know when I do too much? Within a session and between sessions, or rather, like, how do they gauge from their body if they're doing too much? And then how do I know if I'm doing too much in a week? And this question is difficult to answer because it depends on your week. So, okay, let's continue reading this question. I'm 25 years old, not overweight, but certainly not muscular either. I rock climb or boulder twice a week, but honestly, I'd like to make it three because I enjoy it so much. Okay, good observation and awareness, and then also great info for if I'm a coach helping them program. I lift 3 times a week. That's on top of the rock climbing. Wow. Nothing crazy, just with dumbbells and the cable machine in my apartment building, or the Smith machine at the climbing gym. Wow, climbing gym with Smith machine. I run 3 times a week, usually 5K. I play softball every Wednesday, recreational league. I take any opportunity for extra physical and social activities. For example, I played spikeball this Monday. So this is just someone who loves to move, who loves to spend time moving, who loves to spend social time being active also. So generally an active person. So motivation to be active and moving is high. They just enjoy it. I've been invited to start playing beach volleyball every Monday, recreational league. What a nice life. It sounds like it's wow, how nice to be able to have time to do all these things. And I'm wondering if I should decline because I'm already doing so much. I haven't injured myself or even sprained anything, but I'm worried there's such a thing as too much exercise. This year, I really started to change my lifestyle, and before the start of this year, I was doing literally none of what I listed above. But I don't want to overdo it. Wow, that's a huge change in lifestyle. That's interesting. People are like, you'll know when it's too much. The skill of knowing when something is too much, honestly, could be better um learned, because I think a lot of often people don't know what too much is. Uh, okay, there are different groups of people. There are people who are like, "That's too much," really quickly, and then there are very motivated people who may not know what too much is until they encounter injury or a lot of fatigue. So this person's quite young too, 25. That's really young to me. Um, cause I think these days a lot of people are like, oh, 30 years old, unk. Okay, no, 30 is still young. Uh, in fact, some of my clients are 50, and I'm like, you're still young. You could like live. This could be a halfway point in your life. You could live to 100 these days. That's young. So 25 is like what? If we assume that they can live till like 90 or 100, that's like almost like a quarter of their life. It's young. Okay, so how much is too much? Okay, this person, honestly, with all the activities, every activity that they do, they can just adjust intensity. If they enjoy climbing, if they climb and boulder and what they love to do is just the feeling of climbing, they could just do easier climbs. So maybe do in one session, one twice a week. So one maybe in one of the sessions of bouldering, they can do one or two harder climbs, and most of them are easy climbs. And then I think with climbing and bouldering, it's also usually quite a social thing. So lots of rest time in between. But I think also not so much rest that you become cold. So yeah, this I would just adjust the intensity of different things. Like, I guess the things that can be a bit harder to adjust intensity on uh well, or like effort, like in terms of the ability to recover from the thing. A softball and the beach volleyball, because they are sports, and yes, it's recreational, but it's competitive recreational. If you get really into it, you're gonna get really into it, and then you're gonna push yourself a little bit more. So I would say those two will probably be a bit harder, which means the ones that you can control, definitely try and manage it. The effort that you put in. So that would be the climbing, the lifting, and the running. I think an underrated thing about running is you can just do really easy runs. You can just do runs that are like um they're like you make sure that you don't get too out of breath. You can have a conversation the whole way. And or if you wear a heart rate tracker, you can see that it doesn't get too high. And if you know or you feel your own heart rate in your body, and if you notice that it's getting too high, just slow down or even stop and walk for a bit before you let yourself calm down and then go again. Make the runs feel as easy as possible and think about make it more like how can I make this distance feel as easy as possible while still being able to while still running. Yep. And then maybe like once like here and there you can try and complete a run within a distance within a certain time to push a little bit more. But I think it is quite underrated to run in this way, which is how can I make this same thing, and it can even be tempo runs or tempo runs where you run at 60-70%. How can you make that feel easier when as you do it? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this shoulder. I'm sorry, shoulder. I'm sorry I did that. It's not happy. So what I'm doing now is because it's like I need attention, I need help. I'm just doing some easy movements to try and map what is actually okay because it's getting really achy. So it's like we can still do this. We can do these movements. And I find this is a lot of people try to not move when they're injured or when they feel some kind of pain, but the movement can actually help you. Uh, your movement can help you recalibrate what is actually dangerous, which will then help you with the pain signals because that's what pain signals are trying to tell you. Okay, and then okay, so what are the signs of doing too much? Consistent aches and pains that that do limit your range of movement, not to the point of injury, but it's just like, ugh, like, it's hard to get up. It's difficult to go up and down the stairs. I think for me, I think also for this person, if it starts to feel like a drag to go to things that they like to do, like, oh, it's hard to go climb, that's a sign. Too much is happening. So yeah, if you start to feel like it's a drag to go to things you actually like, I think that's it. And also, it's hard to be in certain positions. And then if you feel tired or it's hard for you to concentrate, think, be with people, maybe you notice your mood's kind of grumpier and stuff. That is also potentially doing too much. Other than that, maybe you notice when you run, it feels much harder to do the same kind of run, or if you lift, it's much harder to do the same kind of lift. If you climb, and you know that you typically I can do this route or I can do this can't really say that if you can do a specific level of climbing, like a grade of climbing, that you can definitely that you know that you'll be able to do it, because different people have prefer different styles of climbing, but like with the holds and the how the route is. So it can be quite hard to gauge. But if there are routes that have been there, and typically, I can do this route, it feels like a 3 out of 10 in terms of rate of perceived exertion, RP. Then, but now it feels like a 7 or 6 out of 10. Maybe that's probably signs of fatigue building up. And then sleep. Are you sleeping well? Are you waking up feeling okay? Are you able to fall asleep as easily as you typically do? Do you find that you're waking up a lot at night? Those things. Other things to gauge stress is, or like if you're doing too much, is to do body scans. I think it is beneficial to do a body scan at the beginning of the day, and then maybe at the start of any kind of session. Check in. How am I feeling today? You can do the RP, or rather, not RP, but what are my energy levels for today? How do I feel like? Excitement levels, or hype levels, or just how do I feel energy wise now? And then you rate that out of 10. And if you notice that it's consistently low, then you might be doing too much. I've been doing this, I've been trying to do more of that, which is how am I feeling energy wise at the beginning of the session, and then tailor the session and movements to the effort that I'm ready to put in that day. And it's been great. I still do some similar movements, but I try to just manage the volume and intensity. But I still managed to get this shoulder thing. Still. I am on my period, so sometimes my tendons get really wobbly during my tendons and my ligaments. Yep. So, yeah.